If you thought that Republicans would have learned their lesson after the debacle that was the end of Kevin McCarthy's speakership, think again. Because now, Mike Johnson's gotten himself into a situation that, frankly, there's no way out of. On one hand, just days ago, in the immediate aftermath of Putin's opposition leader Alexei Navalny's death, Johnson issued the following statement. Vladimir Putin is a vicious dictator, and the world knows he is likely directly responsible for the sudden death of his most prominent political opponent, Alexei Navalny. Putin has shown his willingness to use extreme measures, including the use of radioactive material, to attack his enemies and expand his power. We must be clear that Putin will be met with united opposition. As Congress debates the best path forward to support Ukraine, the United States, and our partners, we must be using every means available to cut off Putin's ability to fund his unprovoked war in Ukraine and aggression against the Baltic states. And yet, on the other hand, here's what awaits him if he does commit the cardinal sin of allocating funding to Ukraine to protect itself from Russia. Here's Republican lawmaker Warren Davidson.
If the Speaker were to put the Senate package on the floor, what would that mean for his ability to hold on to the gavel?
He would need Democrats to hold on to the gavel at that point.
Because there would be an effort to push him out?
Yeah, I mean, multiple of my colleagues have already promised that. I believe that it's not an empty threat.
He would need Democrats to hold on to the gavel at that point. In other words, Republicans would exercise a motion to vacate. And by the way, if you're wondering why the hard line against the aid package, well, that's not difficult to figure out. In fact, Mike Johnson himself just got that lesson firsthand, considering who just sunk his claws into him. That's right. So if you think that Johnson's going to turn his back on Vladimir Putin after kissing the ring of Putin's favorite useful idiot, Donald Trump, then you've got another thing coming.
Are you an admirer of the Russian?
I think he's done a great job of outsmarting our country.
Putin even sent me a present, beautiful present, with a beautiful note.
We just left Moscow. He could not have been nicer. He was so nice and so everything, but you have to give him credit.
Russia is like, I mean, they're really hot stuff.
I think I'd get along very well with Vladimir Putin.
He's running his country, and at least he's a leader, you know, unlike what we have in this country.
No, but again, he kills journalists that don't agree with him.
Well, I think our country does plenty of killing also, Joe, so, you know.
Then he called me a genius. He said Donald Trump is a genius, and he's going to be the leader of the party, and he's going to be the leader of the world or something. He said some good stuff about me. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily. Vladimir Putin. Has anybody ever heard of Vladimir Putin? Of Russia says that Biden's, and this is a quote, politically motivated persecution of his political rival is very good for Russia because it shows the rottenness of the American political system. One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills.
And so now, Mike Johnson's in a familiar position as far as the Republicans are concerned, trying to reconcile two completely contradictory positions. Does he side with his own professed interest in stopping Ukraine in the wake of his vile, dangerous, autocratic behavior? Or does he protect his own job from the threats of the extremists that have taken over his party? Because he can do one or the other, but not both. And of course, further complicating matters is the fact that the GOP isn't necessarily even on board with democracy anymore. After all, the party's led by Donald Trump, who made his desire to terminate the Constitution clear. He wrote on Truth Social, the massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. So if the choice is between democracy and Trump, the Republicans will side with Trump. And so if their allegiance is no longer to democracy, then in the battle between Ukraine and Russia, they're going to support the regime that supports Trump, the regime that helped Trump in the 2016 election, and the regime that continues to help Trump today. In fact, just this week it was revealed that the Republicans' smoking gun witness that was supposed to offer evidence of corruption between Joe and Hunter Biden was not only indicted by the DOJ for making false statements, but that the bogus intel he disseminated was gathered from, wait for it, Russian intel officials.
It turns out, according to federal prosecutors, that this individual, the former FBI informant, told them that, in fact, Russian intelligence officials were involved in passing along this false information about the Bidens back in 2020, which sort of set all of this off, and as you sort of mentioned, has been really sort of a linchpin of the Republican efforts against Joe Biden.
It is already beyond clear who the Russians are helping. Let's not pretend it would come as a surprise that the GOP would then drop all pretense about the fact that they are perfectly fine to cozy up with their new autocratic allies in the Kremlin. As for Mike Johnson, it is only a matter of time before he abandons either his own professed values or his own party. Either way, he's in an impossible situation, but remember, it is one of his own making. No one is forcing Republicans to surrender democracy. They're making the conscious decision to do it all on their own. Before you go, to see more content from MSNBC, make sure to subscribe to this channel by clicking the link right here on this screen. And you can also follow the link to see some exclusive content only on TikTok.
If it makes you feel any better, I have already put evac on alert. He's ready to go if it comes to that. General, I can assure you.
Hey, General, let me into the war room to see you, so I had to hack my way onto this frequency.
This better be critical, Wheelie.
Sir, come on, when is it not, please? Okay, couple of things. I'm running low on the dough. I was thinking about taking a couple of months sick leave, maybe starting today. And, oh yeah. I intercepted a transmission from Megatron.
Then send it through.
Yes, sir, right away, sir. And so I was so damn weird going on the other stuff.
This is your last warning, insects. Relinquish what remains of the Allspark.
So who's the insect? You? What? Who's the insect?
Protect you. They were defeated on our world, and we will defeat them here.
Ambush was just a diversion! Security, please bring up. Ravage, he's already inside. Deeds! Give me an update on that reserve. Boss readiness. What was his name? What was it?
Evac, sir.
Evac.
She's right in front.
We are facing a heavy sustained attack. They appear to be after the Allspark. General, watch out! General! Need this immediately, General. Evacuate me. National security evacuate. Stand down. Check it out. The resist operations. The amateurs on a suicide mission.